Hello. Okay, this is the last video that I'm making, but this is the first video that you're going to watch to introduce the project so that you can see all of the color studies together and understand that the whole project is 3 different color studies. So I'm going to show you all the parts and pieces that you should have, and of course your image will be different and your color schemes will be different, but you'll follow the same process. So you'll end up with your tracing of the image, your photographic image, and you'll see, I'll explain that in the first video, how to actually just make your image and how to transfer it. And then you'll transfer it to 3 different pieces of Bristol. So you will end up with a monochromatic color scheme, and sorry that it's reversed in this image, but it's actually, you can see it much better in the videos that explain it. Monochromatic meaning you choose one color hue and then you do variations and versions of that one color that's either dark or lighter. And in these color studies, I used markers and watercolor. You can use any number of things: crayons, colored pencils, colored ink, even tearing up colored pieces of paper and gluing them down. Whatever you have and whatever is inexpensive for you to get. There are some supplies in the classroom for you to use if you need to grab those. But the important thing is not what materials you use, it's the colors, understanding the color schemes. So monochromatic will be your first piece. You can do these in any order, but that's the first one I did first. Then I did analogous. So analogous are the colors that are harmonious. They are the ones that lie next to each other on the color wheel, so you need to refer to the PowerPoint to choose your analogous color schemes. And this is built off of green, blue, and yellow with a little bit of red added to mimic the color scheme in Mary Cassatt's The Boating Party. But red is not normally part of an analogous, that particular analogous color scheme. It's added to be a focal point. And then this is the complementary color scheme. It's built off of orange and blue and variations of orange and blue. Now, in my very last video, I talked about using black to outline some of the shapes, and I decided not to do that because that's not really part of a pure color study. Adding black would be off of the color scheme. So these images don't need to be outlined. In fact, I think they'll be better if they're not. If you, for example, wanted to emphasize some of your lines, you could use a darker orange or a very dark blue to stand in as black, or a very light orange, you know, in this particular one, to stand in as, you know, something like a highlight, or leave the, you know, scrub away by, if you use watercolor, you can scrub away by adding a little bit of water to a cotton swab or a tissue paper if there's places that you want to make lighter. Most of you guys are going to be using colored pencils and markers because they're just really easy to use and really easy to get your hands on. And in which case you just vary the amount of pressure that you use. So lighter pressure will make a lighter color, darker pressure will make a darker color. So that is what will go in your portfolio. And you will snap an image. I would prefer if you snap an image of each one, and also snap an image of your map that you made that shows where your dark, light, and medium values. And remember that in my videos, I used that I followed that very closely in the first one. And in the second two, I actually kind of worked on these together. I didn't follow that map so much, so don't worry about doing that. I do think it's helpful in the monochromatic to follow that value scheme because you're just working with one color and you need to kind of decide whether to use a light version of that color, a medium, or a dark. Once you get to the other colors, the other 2 colors, you're playing them off of each other and you can kind of intuitively figure out placement a lot easier. So snap pictures of those things so that I see you're on track. That is what I will give you feedback on, and that is what will go in your final portfolio. You do not need to put this in your final portfolio, just these 3 things. And I will, to prepare for showing you what my final portfolio will look like of all the examples I've made for you guys, I will erase these pencil marks, for example, okay? Or I'll incorporate them in some way, but to get it all ready to present in your portfolio, you'll get rid of smudges, you'll get rid of anything that's kind of an unintentional mistake, and pencil marks are part of that, and then you'll put it in your final portfolio. So hope that you enjoy doing the color studies project, and I will see some of you in class, or I will see some of you in the virtual classroom.